live. This is going to be, considering there's not a lot to talk about and it's the international break, there's not a lot of football going on. I think this might be a little bit of a livelier one than we expect. We've got a bigger lineup than we normally would have. I have with me, all the way from freezing cold, not cause, old man Trev. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Fergus. Good evening, matey. Very well. I'm a bit warm here. I've had to put a shirt on. First time I've had a shirt on all day, and I'm too hot, so I'm a bit grumpy, but we'll be all right.
I'm not going to say what I said before we came on live.
Probably
Scotty,
best.
Scotty, it's obviously not as hot where you are.
You can't even wear a hat anymore.
You can't. So, you know.
I'd throw you a finger, but I don't think I'm allowed.
No, you're not really allowed to. But I got my members pack through today, so I've got a hat as well. It's probably better than your one, I think, isn't it?
No.
No? You don't think so?
That is terrible.
It's messed all my hair up.
It's worse than them gloves that they give you, the red gloves.
Oh, I know. I've got them up there behind
Messed
me.
all your hair up. What hair have you got left?
Yeah, all right, good. Potsy, how are we?
Very well, thank you, Ferg. All good. Looking forward to this with everyone on tonight, so this should be a good show.
Yeah, and we have our first debutant from the North Bank, the man who brought us the song Terrera. Johnny from the North Bank, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in an impromptu location.
What, you're around the other halves?
No, I just couldn't be bothered to set up desk side.
Okay. And for the first time ever, you know, we've been asking for ages to get some female representation here, and we're bringing in all the way from North London, but originally from Poland, Melina. How are you?
Yeah. Hi. Nice to have you all here with me. You know, it's my first time, so I'm a bit nervous, but hopefully gonna be fine with your help. Thanks for inviting me, first of all.
We're always nervous, all of us on here. So that's how it works. But we're just here to have a laugh. We're just here to have a laugh and talk about one thing we've all got in common, which is Arsenal Football Club. So you know, today I've got a T-shirt on. I don't know what you can see. Let me zoom in on me. I've got a T-shirt on. Forever in Our Shadows. It's probably even longer now, but this was a few years back, celebrating 50 years of Tottenham failure. And, you know, another thing that Tottenham haven't done is they've never gone invincible. And today is the anniversary of when that, unfortunately, the run ended, but we went 49 games unbeaten. And now, Melina, I know we spoke briefly beforehand about this, and you're gonna have a bit of a chat about that. Go on, I'll leave the microphone open to you.
No, not really a chat. What I wanted to say, because I thought that everyone is going to forget about this, I just wanted to say what an amazing day to have a wedding anniversary. So for you and for your wife, happy anniversary, because this is like the best day ever to have a wedding on.
Thank you very much. Yeah, 26 years undefeated. I'm looking for parole. Honestly, I'm waiting for parole, but I don't think I'm gonna get it. I don't really want it anyway. So yeah, we've had our starter, and I'm going to do the podcast, and then I've got a nice bottle of Malbec and some ribeye steaks to go on to.
Brave man, Fergus. Brave man. Podcast on anniversary.
She's all right. She's actually got a bit of a cold at the minute. So my daughter's flown over from Germany, so they're sitting down there chatting away, watching some TV of some sort. But yeah. So the international break brought us some the qualifying games, and Ireland were playing last night, and they lost 2-0 to Switzerland and failed to qualify. We still have one game against Denmark in November to hopefully get through. But I watched the game against Georgia, and it's 90 minutes. I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to get back. And then I watched the game last night against Poland with Xhaka. Xhaka's got a yellow card. So they've got 2 or 3 games left. I was hoping he might be picked for the next one. Only because I don't want any of our players to be playing in that international football, because I worried about them getting injured and so on.
Well, he got a yellow card, so he's banned for the next one.
He's got a second. he got a yellow card. It's his second yellow card, or totting up of yellow cards, and he's banned for the next game.
It's Xhaka. Would we really miss him?
To be honest, Switzerland will. He's quite a big influence on the Swiss side, and he was actually not so bad last night. So
he plays further forward for Switzerland.
What's that?
He plays further forward.
He does. He does indeed. So, Poland as well. Melina, Poland.
Yeah, well, with Poland, it was quite interesting actually, as usual during the qualifications. Well, Poland substitutes Frankowski. I don't know if you recognize the name, but that's his name, Frankowski, and Milik, of course, from Napoli. They scored for us after excellent passes from Lewandowski when we played North Macedonia last Sunday. Honestly, all I can say about watching my country play is that it feels almost like the same as watching Arsenal, really. It's, you get excited, you get hopeful, positive, you see some progress that makes you feel proud, and only to be left bloody heartbroken after, a later stage. So, yeah, anyway, obviously after 8 games, we've got like 19 points now, and it's a massive fun. I'm buzzing for next year because we qualified already.
So can you see yourself getting past the group stages and into like quarterfinal stage? I know Poland have been.
Yeah, I remember what happened 4 years ago. Obviously, Euro 16. It was actually pretty good for us, and I don't really like to recall those memories because it was heartbreaking when we lost to Portugal. During the penalty shootout. And as you know, I'm not a massive fan of Ronaldo, so it took me even. Yeah, it's I'm quite hopeful. I don't like our current coach. The guy that is currently not really impressive, in my opinion. But yeah, hopefully we can get there and maybe achieve something this time. But yeah, it's like Arsenal fan, yeah. So obviously we always hopeful, we always loyal, we always follow our teams. But then when it comes to important games, we know what happens, yeah.
Yeah. You have you've got somebody who says hello. Nick Burt says hello, and he's go on, Melina. So, all right, Nick, how are we doing? There's a couple of other people who've said good evening. We've got an evening from Steve Talbot. We got a good evening from Kaya Chen. And then if we go on to the England game, Johnny, Scunny, and Dan, I didn't watch much of the game. I've seen the coverage since about what happened in Bulgaria. Dan, you said to me that you wanted to discuss it a little bit further. So, it was a good result. It was 6-0. It was better than the result that was the previous game, which was against, I can't remember. Who did England play previous to that?
Czech Republic.
Yeah, it was a better result than that where they lost. But it was a 6-0 result. But it wasn't about the result. It was more about what happened on the day. So what I'll do is, Dan, I'll have a chat. You say what you want to do, and then I'll go to Mike and Johnny and on that as well.
Well, first of all, I think you answer yourself on the pitch by totally and utterly battering Bulgaria football-wise, because that's what we did. I mean, 6-0, it was a pleasure to watch us going forward. So I've got no qualms with that. I think it's disappointing that we're still talking about this all the time now. And I know that people will say that, it's been going on since the 60s or 70s. As far as I'm concerned, it's wrong whenever it happens. And I just wanted to mention Gareth Southgate, really, for me, because I'm a massive fan of him. I think that what he's done with the youngsters and the fact that he's given them all a chance is fantastic. But for me, I just think he's so good with football fans, so good with the press, really, really confident with the media, and just seems to say the right things for me. And I just think when it comes to what has happened with the racism and stuff like that, I just think he's handled it so well. He's got the players to unite. I know he plays for them up the road, but Harry Kane was brilliant as well in terms of being a captain to gather everyone together and kind of unite. And I just thought it was great, really, to see everyone kind of stick up. And that's the first time I've seen anybody do that as a team. And I think that was the only reason I wanted to bring it up, really, as a positive, because there was such negative vibes after the game, and the Bulgaria manager didn't really do himself any favours and then resigned because I think he knew what was happening. And those people that have turned up haven't actually turned up to watch the football anyway. They've just turned up in their black hoodies to start giving it to people. So, they ruined their fun. They all left sticking their fingers up, and we can all, leave the field with our heads held high, because I thought that everybody was fantastic. And as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really bother me if you're black, white, orange, blue or purple. As long as you're good enough to wear the England shirt, you're good enough to play in the team. And that's exactly what happened on that game.
I think the good thing that's come out of all of this is that possibly more the debate about the topic more than anything else, so that that people are talking about whether people are the people are just liking people rather than anything else. Let's not get too deep into that. Scotty, did you have anything to add on that?
Not really, other than just really repeating what Dan just said. Obviously, they were just there to cause trouble. They left at half time, I believe, or around that sort of time. It's disgusting. I don't really want to give them the time of day, if I'm being honest with you, because they don't deserve it.
No, that's actually a fair comment.
I think, is it the president of Bulgaria? He asked for the Bulgarian FA president to resign. He should lose his job, which he did.
Which he has, yeah.
In the end, he has now. He didn't for a couple of days, but he has now. And also, obviously with the manager as well. So it's just time. It is time. It is kicked out. I think it should be kicked out, not just in football but everywhere. But then again, that's the way it is.
Well, Raul has put a message up saying FIFA and UEFA, it would have to be UEFA because European thing, must give a 4-year minimum ban.
Well, I believe, sorry, Fergus, I'm interrupting, mate, but I do believe it's happened before on different, with different games. So it's not the first time it's happened. And I think I remember hearing as well that it was an actual, it wasn't a full capacity. The limited capacity.
They were limited to their capacity for previous offences.
Yeah, for these previous offences for the same thing. So now I think it should be. I think they should be played under closed doors now, or or no. Capacity.
I don't think it should be allowed to play at all. I don't think.
There's that as well. Yeah.
But England done well, but also their under 20, the under 23s. Where's Johnny just gone? Johnny was there a second ago. Johnny's just dropped off. Johnny was going to talk about Eddie Nketiah. We'll come back to that afterwards. We've got the Rugby World Cup as well, and our rugby specialist is Trevor. And the reason you are all the way out in Cos is because of all the impact rugby's done over the years on your bones, isn't it? So, what did you make of the farce that was? The Japan-Scotland thing, and it ended up being a fantastic game.
Yeah, well, that is why I'm here, Fergus, to be honest. I do struggle badly, but I wouldn't change anything, so I don't moan about it. I'll do it all the same again.
It makes sense with the face, Trev.
It's, sorry. Oh, if I had that on, I'll pull it down and cover it, Mike. But it wasn't a farce. It wasn't a farce. The England's got the Scotland and the Japan thing. The weather was awful. People have been killed, and so the game had to be called off. And in the end, Japan look a very, very good side. I think the IRB have got to think about giving them more tier 1 games. I've heard today that a Scotsman went into a pub. Normally there'd be an Irishman, a Welshman, and an Englishman there, but they're still in Japan, so the Scotsman was on his own today.
I like that. I'm nicking that one. So, right, let's look at some of the other things. What you will have seen, we've tried to be busy over the international break because it's really crap when there's not a lot of football and not a lot of Arsenal going on. Some of us get into the rugby, some of us get into the international ones, but Potsy's been doing 1 to 11s. He's done one with myself. He's done one with him. I've done one with him. Scunny, I believe yours is getting done Thursday or Friday. So that will come up, and then we'll have our preview show as well with Johnny from the North Bank. We'll be hosting that later in the week, and we also had Dan's. Dan had a car crash, and Dan was on lots of heavy drugs, and Dan decided to do a Gooner to Gooner. And if you guys have been listening to what we did before, Gooner to Gooners are basically one-on-one chats with various hosts, various panelists, asking probably more or less a prescribed sort of set of questions. And Dan, on hallucinogenic drugs of some sort and painkillers, decided to sit down with his iPhone and record his mum and dad, and it was really good. So have a listen to that if you like. That's really, really good. Did you enjoy doing it, Dan?
Yeah, well, what I can remember of it, yeah, it was a little bit off the cuff, mate.
I was just about to say, do you remember it?
I have listened to that, and I think it was brilliant. Actually, to be honest, I enjoyed that.
Thanks, Melina. I appreciate that.
I found it really, unique, different to talk to your own parents about something like that. And obviously, you can tell that both of them are massive fans. And I'm not sure if I had it rightly, but there was something about your sister. Was it Hannah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that she lost a soft toy or something during the game, and so see, I did listen.
There we go. Thank you, Melina. I appreciate
Carol
that.
Hutchins also said she listened to the G2G and she thought it was really good. There are others on there, Carol, and other people. There's Trev, we've done one. Mike, we've done one. Johnny, have we done yours yet?
Well, going into Gooner.
Yeah. We've done. Well, I think we've done most of the panel. They're on there. And if you want to go back through some of the archives, a classic Just General Guns and Yellow Ribbons episode is episode 51, which is after the North London Derby, the 1-1 at Wembley. I'm not in a good state.
No,
you're absolutely trolleyed.
Hammered would be the words.
I only had about 10 or 12 pints. I don't know what you're worried about.
The only thing that you needed some lubrication for the voice. That's what it was.
That's true. I actually listened back to it a while back, and I carry it off reasonably well, considering how absolutely intoxicated I was. So, looking at some of the other international break stuff, Nick actually put up this question, which was to do with, on the topic of international football, I noticed Torreira has been playing in a defensive midfield role for his country. What do you guys make of him continually being played out of position by Emery?
Can I ask?
Yeah. Go
on. Well, obviously, you know why I want to answer that, Fergus, don't you? Well, I personally think that using Torreira in an advanced midfielder role isn't going to work for Emery anymore. Lucas would be more effective if he played his more natural DM role, like he does for his country, of course. And it feels really frustrating, to see players out of positions so many times this season and previous seasons, really, and then listening to the fans, complaining someone's had a bad game. So it's really up to good decisions, by Emery to play the players where they really should be playing. And Torreira is not really playing as an attacking midfielder, I think, but he's pressing high up and positioning himself as number 8 almost, Mm-hmm. So and like the number 8 would do in the build up. I think that Xhaka is really currently number 6, and this is what Torreira should be doing. So I would drop Xhaka. I know that he's a captain, but I just couldn't care less right now. I would drop him and just use Torreira. I mean, if we went to play 3 midfielders, I would go for Torreira, Matteo Guendouzi, and Willock. If Emery wanted to try Diamond, okay, just add Ceballos to that trio, and we sorted. I don't see any reason we should play Xhaka, who's slowing down the game, and is prone to so many mistakes. What do
you've
you
hit
guys
the
think
nail
about
on the
that?
head there.
Go on, Johnny.
I was going to say you've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what we said in previous pods about he's playing Torreira further up the pitch so he can break down play and recover the ball higher up the pitch, which is one of the things that he wanted to concentrate on. So tactically, he's doing a job for him. It might not be his best position, as pretty much all of us can see. He's best as a DM, but he's very good at harrying and chasing down the ball and winning it back. And where we want to win it back is further up the field. But I agree that Xhaka does need to be sitting next to Lee Judges in the stands.
He does indeed.
But he's not going to be, though, is he?
He won't, no, but that's where the majority of people think he should be. But it's almost a cliche now where we say, Wenger played him whenever he was fit, his Swiss manager played him whenever he was fit, and so on and so on and so on. But yet we can't see it. But all those highly respected tactical minds can see it. But what we can see is someone who is slowing down the play when we want to be at a higher tempo. So it's at odds of what the general populace believe.
And I think I've said loads of times without going over the Xhaka thing again and again and again, none of us can see what he does on the pitch, and he must do an awful lot of stuff off the pitch, or else he's got the nude photos. That's all I can think of.
I think it's the same on-field, off-field ratio as Ozil. Does nothing on the field and just does lots off the field.
We should say happy birthday to Mesut.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah. But we're not.
Moving on.
Listen.
He's got 350,000 reasons a week to not give a crap.
Raoul come along has asked the question, which is slightly off the agenda that we're going to, but it's actually quite a good question. With the January transfers coming up soon, who are the 3 players we need to strengthen our club? I will add to that I've recently saw an article when I was looking to put stuff up on Arsenal Fans Forum that Emery has said he's happy with his squad and he won't be adding any additions in January, but that could be to keep agents at bay or whatever. Trev, you haven't spoken for a little while. Who do you think we need? Do we need 3 players?
No. Of course, we don't need 3 players. I'm really excited about what we've got, Fergus. We've got a really good basis. I'd be happy if we signed a centre half. I'd be happy if we signed a centre half and finish the season with one more signing. That'd do me. We've got strength in every position, as we just said. We've got Xhaka and Torreira. Look how good that's going. And I'm really happy. I'm excited. We've got a nice mix, I think, of youth and more experienced players. So give me a centre half. Find us a Virgil van Dijk or someone like that, and let's get it done. Let's get the season done. And if Man City carry on as they are, we've got a right shout for second, don't we? So, you know, and if Liverpool hit a brick wall, which we all hope they do, well, I certainly hope they do, then who knows?
In the past, haven't they?
They have. They've led at Christmas before, Fergus. They've led at Christmas before, and they've made a mess of it. So who knows? We can but hope. But we're not
different animal now.
They were 8 points clear last year.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But Man City were stumbling as much as they are this season. Man City were stronger last season.
Steve Talbot says Grealish would be a decent signing. It'd fill that hole that Ramsey left. Does Smith?
I don't see that myself.
I do like Grealish, but I think Grealish is possibly he could be Aston Villa's Tony Adams. He could be a one club player.
If they're staying in the Premier, he could be, yeah.
Good. Ramsey hasn't left the hole. That's already been filled and plentifully filled. Where would Grealish get in outside? Where would Grealish get in outside? He wouldn't.
I was going to say you got Smith Rowe that can go in there. There's other players that can go in. So
I'm more excited
know.
by the youth coming through than the possibility of signing yet another person. I'd much rather see us give chances to Emil, Death Row Records, and give Willock more minutes, and give all these burgeoning talents more minutes. I think it's much more important.
I personally think that I'm going to slightly disagree with what Trev said about we don't need anyone. I think as well as a centre, I still feel we need two centre halves and a defensive midfielder. That's my opinion. Because if Torreira's not going to play in that position, then either sell him or don't play him. And if you're going to put a holding midfielder like somebody like that lad from Toulouse, I can't remember his name. In the French league, No, not Saliba. He's already at us. Who's the defensive midfielder from Toulouse? I can't remember his name. But the guy from Toulouse, I'd buy him and a couple too, maybe an Upamecano or Koulibaly or something like that. That for me would strengthen us immensely. So if you're asking for free signings, there you go. They're the three that I'd try and look to get. But every other position, I'm pretty happy with.
Okay, Nick comes along and says, in my opinion, we should be finishing third. And I've already called third at the beginning of the season, guys. I'll go on record as again and comfortably with the players that we have. And considering what's going on at the other clubs, such as United and that lot from Middlesex, it should, top four should definitely be achievable. Third, in my view, is achievable. I think Chelsea might run us hard to that position, but with City playing up a little bit as well, who knows? There was talk of that. There was a new news press conference or whatever, and I think Harry was at it, and a few of the other journalists were at it, and they were talking about Emery, and they're saying he will not. There's two things that come out of it. The first thing was that we've all think. Well, I originally thought he was on a 3-year contract, and then it came out that he was on a 2-year with a 1-year option. And if he gets to the end of this season and he doesn't get top four, they wouldn't renew that contract. But there's talk about that contract actually is a 3-year contract after all. If he doesn't get top four, it's not an in-out sort of thing. I don't think that he should be extended any further, any further rope. Do you? God, who wants to go first?
No,
I know you're all...
I don't.
Go on, Melina.
Well, I agree with Nick and most of the logically thinking fans that he should really get us to top four this season with the squad that we got. I would find it really strange if he didn't play the players that are currently not injured, fit to play. If he was still trying to find his best 11 that he seems not to know yet. With the players that we've got, we really should be getting top four without any problems. Because, like I said, we've got Holding back, we've got Bellerin back, we've got Tierney, we've got Chambers that really is playing well right now. So I think we shouldn't blame defense anymore. If they play, they should deliver. So if he's not playing them, this is really a big question why he's choosing, Socrates or David Luiz or, God forbid, Mustafi over the players that are fit and ready to play. You know what I mean?
Melina, don't mention that word when you got Mike below you.
See, the thing is, right? Just Melina, you're right, very right. But are we getting this confidence about finishing top four? Is it because we're really playing well, or is it because we're watching the teams around us? That lot up the road whose name I don't mention, Manchester United. I'm arranging a relegation party for them boys. Is it because they're really out playing badly that we're thinking we're going to get top four? Because if you look at us, we're third in the league. We're a point behind second, but we've only got a goal difference of, is it +1 or +2? And we've struggled against some of the lower sides. So I'd like to think personally that we're all confident because we have got the youngsters, and we know we have. But I just don't want it to be a false sense of security because all the other teams around us are struggling, So got to weigh it up a little bit, I think.
Coming on here, stick with the youngsters, give them time to develop. I'm sure there'll be a great future and have an Arsenal DNA. And that is what George Graham did. That's what Wenger did to a certain degree by bringing in some young unknowns and developed them from there. There was another thing in the press about the top four in the Champions League. There was talk about them reverting back to the 3 top teams going through, and then that the 4th team had to go into a qualifier. It's now been confirmed after some pressure from the Premier League that all the top four will automatically get into the Champions League and not have to pre-qualify beforehand.
What else? Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
I know. I think it's probably some sort of leverage, Johnny. It's probably some sort of leverage in the sense to I don't know, to try and get us go into a European Power League or something like that. I don't know.
There's too much money in the Premier League for him to do something like that.
We as a league attract the players that come to the league, and we are the main event when it comes to the Champions League. Everybody looks from around the world what the English teams do.
Well, this is it, isn't it? There's 4 teams from England that could potentially, you would say, from the Premier League, that could potentially win the Champions League. When you look at other teams around, like Spain, Germany, there's only maybe 2 that could possibly do it.
Yeah, agreed. Don't forget the Europa League, though, boys. Don't forget the Europa League.
Yeah,
could 2 English teams in that final as well last year. It was all England, wasn't it? Both finals.
Yeah, both finals.
Yeah.
It might even,
something like that would never ever happen.
It might even be 4 teams in the semi-finals, English teams in the semi-finals this year.
It's potentially it could be there.
Yeah, well, when Spurs drop out of the group stages and Man United drop out of the group stages, you never know.
I thought we weren't allowed to swear on this.
Yeah, sorry, Johnny. Look, forever in our shadow. There we go. So Charlie George will be 70 next year. Trev's hero. I didn't see Charlie play, but Charlie George is going to be 70 next year. What should the club do to commemorate such an iconic player and historic player for us? There's got to be something, hasn't there? Listen, this has got to be one for Trev. Go on, Trev.
Yeah, you see, you youngsters don't remember Charlie George was an icon of his time, right? And he still is to all us old boys now. We look for him when we go to the Arsenal because we know he's off and around the ground. You talk about the modern day players that you remember, like Wrighty, Bergkamp, Perez, that could lift the side, that could raise the crowd, get the expectations up. That's exactly what Charlie George used to do. Charlie George was that player of his day. And he sadly left Arsenal only when he was in his early 20s, But for a player that left Arsenal in his early 20s to still have that iconic status, the man needs celebrating. If you ever get a chance to see him at the Arsenal, say hello to Charlie George. He's such a lovely man now. I've heard he was a so-and-so in his youth. I don't know for sure, but we've heard he was a bit of a devil. Certainly didn't get on with the then manager, Bertie Mee. But yeah, top man. They need to do something for him, definitely.
And who would you say?
Give him a day off.
Give him a day off.
He's always there. When I was growing up in Bethnal Green, he lived next to my school, so it was a bit of a legend. Even when I was a little nipper, I just heard about Charlie George, and then I did a bit of research and then found out about him. So even as the boy from the North Bank.
And who would any of you say is the modern day equivalent of somebody like Charlie George?
Would be your mate Jenko, wouldn't it?
There ain't one. Well, from a certain perspective, you're right, Johnny. From a certain perspective, because Jenko and he was Arsenal through and through. I mean, Charlie George is Islington born and bred. That man. But I can't think of one nowadays. There's not someone like it. There's not someone with that career.
Club, no.
And is there still anyone that plays for a club because they love the club? right?
Grealish.
You know, yeah, okay, yeah, point taken, maybe, but we don't know yet. But Charlie George played for Arsenal because he wanted to play football for Arsenal, no other reason, you know. When his careers advisor at school said to him, Charlie, what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to play for the Arsenal. And that was it. He went and played for the Arsenal. That was it. Top man. Statue, actually.
Nick's really trying to get involved tonight. He sees he's got 2 cats. One is called Charlie and the other's called George.
My one's called George as well.
I've got 6 cats. Not all mine. They're my wife's or anybody else's that we've nicked along the street. And they've got...
He's about a lot tonight, isn't he, Nick Bertrand, in a comment? I wonder why he's popping up so often. I
don't know. Can't understand why. It must be the hat that Mike's wearing.
Yeah, I reckon it must be. Yeah, or the fact that we're all such good lookers, he wants to look at us all.
Yeah, you know? That's what I reckon.
I reckon.
As you were saying about people who wanted to play for Arsenal,
can you understand why he might be here? Yeah. Okay. Let's moving swiftly on.
I do understand. Yes, I do understand.
Well,
he probably wants me to mention our trip to Baku, you know.
He's now going to shut up now, but not Nick. You keep on joining in and carrying on. It's good. We're just taking we're taking the rise out of you. Listen,
you nearly did that, Fergus. You nearly swore then, didn't you? You nearly did.
I do that nearly every episode. Honestly, from the audio to the video, it's unreal. Also, next year is the 50th anniversary of the double winning season. So we got in the season 2021 is the 50th anniversary of the 1971 FA Cup. The jersey you were wearing and the year I was born in, Trev. So they've got to be doing something to commemorate that as well, don't you think?
Oh, undoubtedly they will. They mustn't they? You know, I mean, such a feat that was in 71. I'm not going to linger on it. I've got plans to talk about this when I do my 1 to 11 with you, Dan, if you don't mind. But
absolutely, mate.
But in them days, you know, I think Arsenal won the double that season. They won the cup and the league. And I bet I can't remember for sure, but I bet they didn't use many more than 13 or 14 players all season, you know. There was no rest in them. And they played in the League Cup as well, the first team, you know. So it was a magnificent feat, and I'm sure that the club will honour it in some way. They have to.
And if you're looking at that young English players, that if we go back and look at the academy that we've got, how many of those young English players I don't think Ireland have got any hopefuls in our academy, and I don't think Poland have. So, but how many of the academy players that you can see coming through would make it into full England caps? Dan?
I don't think Maitland-Niles or Nelson have done enough at the moment to be knocking on Southgate's door, but I certainly think that Willock and Saka will be knocking on the door, in my opinion. I look at the wide players at the moment with Sancho and Sterling, Hudson-Odoi. There's probably room for one more there, and I think Saka could be that lad. And I also look at what Joe Willock's done. He can play sort of as a 10 or an 8, and I think he is more of an 8 for me. And I can't really see that there's anything that Declan Rice or Jordan Henderson are doing that Willock can't do. So, they're the two that I'd mention would probably get the nod for me.
Johnny?
I think we're forgetting about Rob Holding coming back. He's definitely going to be there or thereabouts around the squad. Chambers as well. Once he gets a run of games, I reckon he'll probably end up in the squad as well. So, from an England team perspective, I'm not really interested unless there's Arsenal players in there, to be honest. So I don't watch it unless there's Arsenal players in it. So I'm hoping in the next couple of years, hopefully for the next World Cup, we're going to see Willock in there, Saka in there, you know, all these burgeoning talent, you know, there or thereabouts.
Do we know if there's any other? There's loads of other nationalities, I expect, and I'm sure if somebody's ate a packet of Tato crisps, they can claim that they're Irish. I'm sure there's somewhere along the line that we can nick a couple out of there.
Have a swig of Jameson.
Yeah, that'll do. That's it.
It's a Tato sandwich or nothing.
Yeah. You're an EU citizen as well to chuck into it as well. We got another thing that we heard about this week. That's actually, considering there's no news at all, there's been quite a lot of news in the sense that Arsene Wenger, he's come out of the woodworks. He's talked about his best 11 and his greatest achievements, and he has an autobiography due to come out in 2020. Who wants to have something have a chat about Wenger and his autobiography?
Without swearing, who put 10 pence in the clown?
What about Wenger?
Yeah, why is all of a sudden he's just coming out? It's like over the last week or 2 weeks or so, there's been a story like one after the other about what he's saying or what he's doing. Why now?
Because it's a build up to releasing a book.
That's next year.
I know, but it takes time. It's drip feed.
Drip feed? Jesus Christ.
Okay, Mike, will you buy the book?
No.
I will illegally download it for free.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think personally. I personally won't buy the book. If someone buys it for me, then I'll read it. But I'm not going to go out there and spend my own money on it. Just for the reason is it is someone's put 10 pence in him and off he goes. It's been, you know what I mean? Oh, if I was here, and if I got offers to go to Real Madrid and I would have won trophies there. It's like, all right, calm down. You know, but there's no need for it. Why now?
Why now? Because there's
a bit of discontent with Emery at the minute with the fans and stuff, so he's sticking his oar in.
No, he was answering questions that were put to him. He didn't put out a statement or something. He hasn't gone on some kind of book tour. He was at a charity event where he was getting honoured, and he was answering questions that were put to him. It's not the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's one thing, and then there's more. You know what I mean? It's not just one thing he's done. He's done numerous things, and there's numerous stories about what he's said and what he's done, and what he could have done, what he could have achieved when he was a manager. Look, he was a great manager for Arsenal. I'm not going into that. What I'm saying is why all of a sudden has he come out and started going on and on and on and on, and there's loads of things coming out about different stories. I just don't understand why now. He's had plenty of time to do it. He had last year. He could have done it all last year. Why all of a sudden now?
I think Raoul's got a title for it.
That's quality. I like that.
Cough.
Yeah.
4 bestseller.
Listen, I'd buy it.
That'd be brilliant.
I'd buy it, and I would buy it, and I would read it. I'm interested to know what truths come out of it. Whether he's telling the truth or not would obviously be a different story. But I'd like to hear it from his point of view. I've heard, the stuff about his greatest 11 and the Invincibles are the best. For me, that is the easy stuff to write about. I want to hear about the hard times, and I want to hear about how hard it was for him when we moved to the stadium, how hard it was for him to get top 4 with no budget, how hard for it was to get top 4 with players like Gervinho and Shamak and Bentner, and how tough was it when players like Fabregas, Nasri, Van Persie, Sanchez all said see you later. So that's what I'm interested in reading about, just to see where he stands on those sort of things.
That's a good point. I hope that they do an audiobook version, and that it's either going to be voiced by Fred Syriacs, because he's got that heavy French accent, or Idris Elba, just for that really nice tone,
or Manny.
Or Manny.
Can't have Manny. He'll swear too much.
It'll be like
he'll have a song background with Benny Hill he'll have Benny Hill in the background as his main song.
Listen, I will for one buy the book. As we've all said before, his time was done. Rebecca, which is Terry, isn't it? Rebecca's not really. Terry's Rebecca at the weekends, isn't it? Is that what you're saying, or is he Rebecca in the week? And Terry at the weekend, your mate. He says, is he only writing the book because he isn't getting another managerial job anytime soon? He says in some of the conversations he's had that he wouldn't do another Premier League job, and he may consider something else. But he's the guy's nearly 70. Why would he bother getting involved? He's making loads of money. If he releases the book,
He got linked with the United job.
He's considering a job with FIFA as the international development director.
Oh, the job that they made up for him.
Exactly, and quite rightly too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know. I was speaking to somebody recently who's writing a book and stuff like that, and trying to write a book anyway, and asked me to read some stuff, and I did, and I enjoyed what I read. But I'm so dyslexic. I read the same sentence over and over and over and over again.
You can tell Fergus it's my book. I let you tell the world it's my first chapter of my book.
John. Well, once you've developed it a little bit more,
I'm quite impressed that you actually enjoy that, because I was looking forward to your honest opinion, and I expected you to say something like, "Oh, it's really sad," or "It's really life-changing." What you said is like, "I enjoyed it," which is actually really good. Really, really, really good thing to say about this sort of subject that I've touched. So,
do you want to give a quick overview about a couple of sentences?
Really, I'm not really prepared to share this, with everyone yet. But
no, that's fine.
It's going to be a journey for me to write this book, and I know that once it's done, it's going to help a lot of people, especially women out there. This is my main target, to be honest. Women out there who struggle daily with different sort of things, and one of the subjects is domestic violence. Women these days don't get enough help. They struggle in silence. They're afraid to stand up for themselves. So there must be a point that somebody is actually talking about this, and this is one of the reasons I'm trying to connect serious topics of life with football, and what you've read. I hope that you could actually see the connection in there.
Well,
and
the reason why I said I enjoyed it because I saw that it helped you, and I could see how, because meeting you at football and stuff like that, seeing how you enjoy football and enjoy the group. Like, I think probably most of at least 4 of us on here, if not 5 or 6 of us, all met up in one of the pubs, and it's such a social and an enjoyable place, and it helps people move on and look, listen, even doing this stuff here, I enjoy doing it. Dan, Trev, Johnny, all of us, we've all done. We like doing this because it's Arsenal's. It's good. It's cathartic. It's not cathartic. It's not. It's it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good fun. It's good fun. Nick said another.
Can we just touch on Raul's comment there?
Yes, go on.
He says, I would love Wenger to get a non-league job. That would be really funny, because we like when you're playing Football Manager and then you take over someone from the non-league and take them through to the Champions League. I think that if he did that, if he got a non-league job somewhere and then took them up through the league, hilarious to watch. All of the Wenger out brigade just like slate him all the way through.
We're talking about one. We talked about a few historic Arsenal things, but there's another guy, Dennis Bergkamp, the Iceman. I don't know if any of you have watched the.
I have.
Have you watched the YouTube thing with Wrighty and Bergkamp?
Yeah, it was average, wasn't it? Weren't bad, I suppose. It was all right,
You didn't enjoy it?
You hardly ever see anything of Bergkamp, do you? And it's nice to see him interacting with Wrighty, and they're still firm friends, and it's fantastic to have a little sneak peek there.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. It was a brilliant watch, wasn't it? It was, had me engrossed from start to finish with two opposites like that. I didn't realise they used to share a room, and you wouldn't have thought that them two would have been roommates, would you? You would have thought that Righty would have done the Iceman's head in, but obviously
it was the other way around. I was listening to Righty doing a bit with Arseblog, and he was saying that Dennis's influence on him made him calm down a lot, and he stepped away a lot more from the Tuesday club, and he showed him the professionalism that it was required to prepare for a game and be the very, very best. And it actually made Righty a better player just rooming with him, let alone practice, training with him and playing with him. Just getting to know him as a man helped him become a better player.
I just love the fact that he said he wants to be back as an Arsenal coach.
Yes, that'd be fantastic. That would be fantastic. He loves playing with the idea of being part of the youth setup. That'd be fantastic to have him as because he does that for Ajax, or he did that.
Better than Steve Bold.
Yeah, but a potato would be better than Steve Bold. But
don't say anything against potatoes.
I said potatoes would be better. I love potatoes. I would not sully a potato.
Yes.
Has Bergkamp had any coaching jobs yet at all?
He's had Ajax.
Yeah, he had enough. Yeah.
Was he part of the Holland setup as well at some point?
He was for a bit, yeah. But alongside his Ajax job, I think.
Yeah. Listen, what stood out for me was how quiet the man is and how reserved he was. He was just really, really a quiet. And considering how lethal he was on the pitch, he was just such a quiet and unassuming man on that interview. And the one thing that stood out for me on it was he said that goal against Newcastle was actually a cock-up, a bad pass by Bobby Pires. And I thought, and he said, if Bobby Pires passed you that ball properly, would you have scored that goal that way? He said, no. He said, I don't think I'd even have scored it. And I just thought, wow, it just things happen.
Pure class and instinct.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool, calm, and collective.
The Iceman.
Thank you, Mike. I am.
As he said though, in that thing we've watched, the whole team, it was just a perfect team, wasn't it? It was a perfect blend of great players in all their positions, and invincible. That's why we need Liverpool to lose this year. We need to stay the Invincibles.
They will.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially on this day, which is the Invincibles, the day that we finished at 49 invincible, even though Rooney did cheat. But our next four games, we're running out of time slightly. Our next four games, we've got Sheffield United away, which Scotty, you're going to. Yeah. We got Palace at home, Wolves at home, and Leicester away.
I'll be going to that one too, I reckon.
Scotty, how many points are we going to get out of that?
I think we're going to struggle on Monday. Sheffield United have been playing very, very well. They was unlucky against Liverpool not to get a point out of that. So I think we might struggle. I think we'll maybe probably pull our point out of that one. Palace at home. I think we should win that. I think we should win that comfortably. Yeah. And who we got after that? Sorry, again. Is it Leicester?
We've got Wolves at home and then Leicester away.
Wolves.
That was a tough game.
We've got and we've got a in between. Palace and Wolves, and we got Vittoria in between them.
The Premier League games. We have got other games as well.
No, I'm just saying, have we got Vittoria between them? A European game.
Yeah, we've got.
I hope we have, because I'm going to Portugal.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I think because I think they're struggling, Wolves this year with being in the Europa League as well. So I think we could pull. I think we could win that one as well.
Yeah, they really struggled on the last time. They went out and beat whoever, and then came back and beat City 2-0.
Well, City were rubbish, weren't they?
Yeah, they
But
were
No,
terrible.
I think they were on that game. They were anyway. So I don't know. I think we'll beat Wolves at home, and then I think, unfortunately, I think we'll lose at Leicester.
Yeah, I'm with Scunny. I think we should get 10 points, in my opinion. I think we should be scraping past Sheffield United, which I agree with Scunny will be a tough game, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be a repeat of what happened to us at Watford. But I'm nervous about that one. But I think we'll scrape past Monday night. I think we'll beat Palace. I think we'll draw the Wolves, and I think we'll lose to Leicester. So I think we're going to get 7 points, unfortunately. But we should be getting 10, in my opinion. I think we should be winning the 3 of them and then drawing against Leicester. But I can't see it personally. I don't think we're playing well enough at the moment. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that international break has done us good and everyone comes back fit and we start playing well again. But I'd like to see 10 points, but I can only see 7 if I'm honest.
Okay.
Yeah, agree.
Go, Trev.
Totally agree, Potsy. I think Leicester are a very good side. Very good side. Wolves, they've had a bad run. No, they've had an average run, haven't they? And now they've had a good win in Europe and they've beaten Man City. So that's got to be slightly worrying because they should have beaten us at the Emirates last year. Wolves 2-2 we got away with, didn't we?
It was a tough game.
It was a very tough game.
Our home form's been better this year.
Yeah,
I think our home form's been definitely better this year, and our away form's starting to pick up. But I just think with what Potts said, I just think with Leicester away, we lost there last year. When we lost there, it was comfortable for them, that 3-1 loss. So, and I was there as well for that. But I can't see us beating Leicester. I just can't see us. They're playing too well. And last year they didn't have a good team. Our defense was terrible away last year, granted, but this year they have got a far better side.
yeah.
I think by the time we get to Leicester, though, we're going to have a much more ahead of steam with the players that are coming back. I'm hoping that Bellerin would start to be closer to match sharpness. Holding will be sharp as attack, and Tierney should hopefully get his first start on Monday. So by the time we get to Leicester, I really do think that our back four is going to be much more settled and more like we're hoping it's going to be in the longer term.
Fingers crossed, but again, like we've just said, Wolves is going to be a tough one. But I still think I can see us winning that with it being at home. But it's still going to be a tough one, and it's going to test. That's going to be a tester for the defense as well as Sheffield United. That's going to be a tester.
They've been playing some odd tactics with like overlapping centre halves and stuff like that. It's a kind of tactics we've not really seen in the Premier League.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's working for him. It's definitely working.
Yeah.
It's working for them. That's why it's got to be a bit of a banana skin if we don't, stamp our authority on the game. And I think Sheffield United could be a surprise, but Palace should be a win. It should always be a win against Palace at home. We've had some good wins at home against them in recent seasons.
Not last year though.
In recent seasons, we've had some half decent. Hello, Donna.
I was worried about Sheffield on Monday night, just being Monday night up north and everything else. I don't know what this.
No.
Yeah, up north. What these players were, but I thought maybe we'd do all right there, and that Leicester might be more an issue. But I'm now very worried about Sheffield. Dave Hurl, our Jonah of Guns and Yellow Ribbons, is going to Sheffield on Monday.
I'll see you there, Dave.
I'm the European Jonah, remember. I'm not allowed to go to European aways anymore.
No, you're not. No, you're not. But fortunate enough, I think we'll have a result at Leicester because Dave is not going to Leicester for the first time in years.
I wish I could believe him.
We touched on the away European games. On the points, actually, I'm going 10 points out of them. I think either the Leicester or the Sheffield game. I actually generally thought Leicester might be a draw. The rest, I think we should win. Melina, did you give your points? I had to nip out for a second. Did you give your points? What you thought?
No, I'm listening to you guys, and I found it really interesting that every one of you seem to be worried about the games that we really should be winning. You know what I mean? Like with the squad that we've got, with the players, healthy players that we've got. If Emery plays the players that are fit and should be playing on the pitch on those days, and I'm not talking about the Europa League games or the, just Premier League games. If he fields them correctly on their position, we should be winning all of them games, really. We shouldn't worry about the games.
Yeah, but I think sorry, Melina.
Sheffield.
Yeah, I'm gonna say sorry, Melina, but with Sheffield, you should have seen them play. Did you watch them play Liverpool?
Yes, I know what you mean.
They absolutely took it to them, and Liverpool have been running through teams at the minute. Yeah. And they took it to them right until the last few minutes when it was keeper error?
Yeah.
So I that's the reason why I think I'm worried about Sheffield. They've been surprising a lot of teams this year.
Yeah, see, Sheffield have been clever this year, boys and
Yeah.
girls. Sorry, excuse me, Melina. Sheffield have been clever this year in that they've I reckon their game plan is what are these Premier League teams not expecting? Let's go away from the norm of the Premier League and let's do things slightly differently. And you're right, they've got these centre backs running around all over the park, and they're playing a different type of game, and they nearly held it at Liverpool, didn't they? It was such a shame. And Melina, you're right. Absolutely, with this squad, we should be beating these teams. We should be beating them soundly, and we should be beating them easy. But you see, we've been saying things like that for years. Like last season, the last 4 away games of last season, we all said we should have been winning them games easily. Yeah. But Arsenal got this habit. The Arsenal have got this habit of letting us down. But let's hope that's changed now. Tierney and that, you're right about talking about all the defenders coming back, Tierney and Bellerin and yeah. So let's hope
Bellerin, that's a new one, Trev.
Well,
we're getting the North Bank, Bellerin our lungs out.
But he shouldn't be getting in the side Bellerin in front of Kolasinac, so I'm not talking about
Bellerin. Wrong side, Trev. Wrong side.
He can swap sides. Kolasinac, he's a superstar.
Oh, you're joking.
Oh, Trev, don't do this to me, man.
That mate Ed can sit on the bench.
Tierney should be fit again because he's played a full 90 minutes along with Mesut Ozil and Rob Holding. They were involved in the behind the closed doors match.
Oh, that's why you couldn't see Ozil.
What's that?
So if it was behind closed doors, that's why you couldn't see Ozil play.
Yeah, well, yeah. Listen, I purposely we did mention about should we talk about Ozil in this, but we've done enough about Ozil. What will happen will happen with. Yeah, it's just done. Happy birthday! Hope you had a great time. Enjoy counting your money. Lacazette.
Brad's just put about Lacazette to come back in on Monday or too early. Probably is a bit too early, I think, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what he's been up to. I know he's back in training, but a bit too early for Monday. But that's exciting as well. I think we've forgotten the fact that he's going to be coming back in because for me, he's such an important player. Yeah. I think that he makes players tick, and I'm excited to see what Pepe does when Lacazette is on the pitch with him. So
I think he'll be back for the home games. I don't think he'll make Monday.
I think you'll probably see him in the Wolves game at the earliest.
Yeah, we're supposed to be towards the end of the month. Let's face it, if we're winning those first couple of games, it'd be okay to ease him back in with starting on the bench. He's going to end up starting from the bench, but I don't think we're going to see him before Wolves. I think Mike's right.
We've had a comment as well that the Greek version of Bellerin rather than Bellerin is better. So yeah.
Do you know this Greenwood bloke, right? This Greenwood bloke, Terry, who prances around as his Mrs. Rebecca, who's lovely, by the way, is coming out to visit me in 2 days' time. And if he carries on, he's going to find no one at the airport to meet him.
and no cold Mijas in the fridge.
Not a chance.
Listen, other games that we've got a double header against Vitória in Portugal. Who's going? I'm going to the home game because Super Gooner Little Joseph is going to that one as well. I expect Johnny Melina, you'll be at that one as well. I think. Will you Thursday night football?
Yeah. Planning to go as well.
You're doing the away games at the minute, but are you doing away in Portugal, Mike?
No.
Trev, you are, aren't you?
It's
I'm going, and it's my lad's first European away away as well. So I'm excited about it. This bloody Rebecca prancing around as Terry Greenwood's coming with us. So hopefully it'll be a good trip. Looking forward to it. New ground for me. So yeah, excited.
It's meant to be really good. Boston Ozil, who's one of the founders of Guns and Yellow Ribbons, Mike Gongalves, it's actually his original hometown, his family's ancestral hometown. And he's been out there in the summer. And I've seen some of the pictures you put on Facebook, and it looks really, really, really nice. Really nice. Other things, we got Liverpool away in the League Cup. So we got Timsky Highbury, obviously a fake name, but we don't care. He's going on.
That's
third.
my cousin. That's my cousin. Yeah.
Jesus.
Thank you, Fergus.
Is he called Tim?
This chat's full of Trev's friends and family.
It is, yeah. If it's not the Hills, it's the Pots. And the Molina fan club.
What, one of them? Sorry,
Yeah.
Melina. Sorry.
So we got Liverpool in the League Cup. Anybody doing the away game to Liverpool? I know it went down to 0 points at one point. I'm not doing any away games before Christmas.
No, me either.
No.
I'm looking forward to that game, though. I'm not going, but I'm looking forward to that game. See what the youngsters can do up there at Anfield. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, shit.
If they've got a full team out, they're going to get a pasting.
You know what's cracking?
I think they will, though. Well, I hope they will.
I reckon they will, mate.
You know what's
No,
cracking
no,
me up at
John.
the moment? Sky Sports are making a big deal about, like they did with the Man United Arsenal game. They're now making a Man United Liverpool game, and they're showing old footage of Beckham and everything else. At least with Arsenal versus Man United, they're probably a little bit more benchmarked together to get, and it could have turned out to be a fantastic game. But with Liverpool going to Old Trafford,
If they don't get 5, I think they'll be disappointed.
precisely.
Well, yeah, De Gea's out. Pogba's out. They've got a raft of other missing players as well, and they've got no bloody striker. So what do they expect? They're going to in Man United. They're just going to have to do Mourinho and just stick all 11 players behind the ball and hope for the best.
Who do we want to win then? Who do we want to win? Liverpool or Man United?
Liverpool.
No.
Do you? I want Man
Yeah.
United to win, I do.
I want Man United probably to win only because I want Liverpool to not go unbeaten for a season.
Yeah.
And I want City or us. But I, not that I'm for a second imagining we can, because I don't think we're there yet. We're a couple of years off that, but I'd like to just pull it back a bit, so there's a bit more to the competition than just a team running away with it. It's never interesting then. Like we're not even looking at first. We're not even type of looking at second, but we got second. We're not even thinking we could challenge first as we
If
stand.
Liverpool don't win it this year, honestly, that club is jinxed because this is all they got. It's got to be them this year, surely.
It's their
please.
year, mate. It's their year.
I'm gonna cut you off in a minute, Dan. Honestly, listen. The last thing before we finish, I just want to ask all of you where you are going to be when Man United get relegated and we have a party. Where are we having the party?
Cost by the sounds of it.
When Tottenham and Man United get relegated, I'll be singing that song that I was singing in the Coronet.
Can you repeat it?
Oh yeah, no, you can't. No, you.
I can't repeat it. That's why I just
No.
it.
You see, I remember Tottenham getting relegated, right? I remember that year Tottenham got relegated. It was fantastic.
Jesus, that's going back.
It was when was it? 70 something or other. It was fantastic. We had a party for a week. We did, and it was good fun. It was genuinely.
Was you running around Tottenham?
Yes, but it wasn't hanging out. I was only young. So,
Listen, with Man United, Arsenal, the only side never to be relegated since 1913, the only top flight team never to be relegated since promotion in 1919. We're 100 years in the top flight of football. There is no other team in this land that is in the top flight of football for 100 years, except for the Arsenal. Since the start of the Premier League, 7 clubs have never faced a drop. That's Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Man United, Everton, Tottenham and Chelsea. Well, we're hoping at least one of those will get very, very close, if not drop out, and that would make it even better. However, there are no English clubs currently in existence that have ever been relegated from the country's top division. Arsenal are the team with the longest run since they were relegated in 1912, 1913 from Division 1. So there we go. Arsenal are
Up the Arsenal.
Up the Arsenal.
Up
Listen,
the Arsenal.
The Arsenal. Yeah, good.
We've overrun again. It's a little bit harder doing it with 6 people on here because I don't think everybody gets a fair crack of the whip of speaking on here. So we'll probably try and make it 4 as a rule. But I've enjoyed it. I hope you guys have. Johnny, it's your first time on here. How have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, well, Brian. Yeah.
I got limited to speak. Fergus told me I wasn't allowed to speak due to the last podcast, the last live one I was on. Sorry.
No, you've got a libel act gone after you.
Can I just say, Fergus,
I've got an injunction.
Well done to Melina tonight. Melina's been top draw.
Brilliant. Have you enjoyed it, Melina?
Thank you very much. Yes, very, very much. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope it's more to come.
Yes, there will be.
If you let me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, you can come on the preview.
I'm quite
podcast.
disappointed. I'm disappointed that we didn't touch ice hockey subject at all. I mean, quite a massive achievement for our slippery goalkeeper.
Actually,
Don't you think?
he scored 2 penalties, didn't he?
No, he saved it. God help us.
We had to have a Fergus messed up somewhere.
I'm through this. Yeah. It's on the list.
Yeah, he saved 2 penalties and a smaller goal, which he pretty much filled.
And it's 14 times he didn't save a penalty for us.
Yeah.
Wow, no comment.
Raul also says well done, Melina, today.
He saved 1 penalty.
2.
No, for Arsenal.
Troy Deeney's, wasn't it?
The last penalty he saved, didn't he? Because I remember us talking about it.
Yeah, it was finally he saved the penalty.
Yeah, I remember that moment as well, very clearly. I couldn't believe my eyes, literally.
He must have thought it was a reserve game.
Yeah. Right, listen. I've got some ribeye steaks and a bottle of Malbec I need to sort out, and it's my wedding anniversary, so I shouldn't really be here. So I am going to go. And thank you very much for everybody watching. You have been watching Guns on Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. If you like us, subscribe to us on YouTube. I know most of you are watching us on Facebook at the minute, but do watch us on YouTube as well. We're going to try and move across there, although we've found a way that we can go on both. But if you like the audio versions, these are on Spotify, Acast, iTunes, everything else. Let your friends know and just come and join us. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Brad, Nick, Steve, Ross, Raul. There's quite a few of you made comments in there, so really appreciate
family.
Trev family. Really appreciate that you've all joined in. Missing Mrs. Potts. What's happened?
She's away. She's in Turkey with me dad, so unfortunately they're missing out tonight.
Okay. Well, at least she's in Turkey at least, so that's the good thing.
Yeah, that there's no excuses, I'm afraid, there now. So yeah, she won't be watching.
Are they going to meet Ozil at some point?
Say again, Melina.
Are they going to meet Ozil at some point, because he's probably holidaying?
Yeah, well, if they do, I tell you, he'll probably have a black eye because my mum can't stand Ozil. I think she hates him more than Scunny and Manny.
They won't find Ozil, will they? He's been missing for years, so they're going to find him.
He's probably fallen into that Fortnite black hole.
Right, lads, I've got steaks out resting. They've got to get on.
No,
Carry
on. As you will, lads.
Happy anniversary, Fergus. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Ferg.
Remember, Fergus, make sure you rest those steaks well.
They have been out for about an hour and a half.
No, after you cook them, you numpty.
Oh, yeah.
At least 20 minutes, Fergus. Come on.
Yeah. All right. See you later, boys.
See you later,
guys.
Happy anniversary, mate.
That could be
See you later.
Trude. There we go.